Hi everybody and welcome, this is the Apostate Prophet. I hope you're having a fantastic day. There is something that I want to talk about, which may be a little bit strange, a little bit embarrassing to some. Something that you notice when you take a closer look at Muslim societies and at Muslim missionaries, Muslim proselytizers, Dawah people. And that is that Muslims seem to have a certain interest in white people, which is why white converts to Islam are highly valued and immediately made popular. I'm using the term white, although I don't really like referring to people of European origin as white, but I'm just doing it because that's what we do. A while ago, Yasmin Mohammed and I had a conversation with Deborah, a former convert to Islam who is now an atheist. And she explained that as soon as she became part of the Muslim community, people tried to make her a teacher, somebody who preaches to other women. Highly valuing white people, obsessing over white people, wanting to convert white people, and wanting to marry white people is very big in Muslim culture. But why is that the case? One thing that needs to be understood is that Muslims have kind of an inferiority complex when it comes to Western society and Western white people. Muslims get conflicted, mixed messages about Western people during their lives. On the one hand, they learn that the Western white person is immoral, that they are rebellious, idolatrous Christians who have rebelled against God and gone astray. Allah will not forgive them. You learn that the West does not like you because you are a Muslim, and according to the Quran, they will never like you unless you become one of them. This is why Muslims also learn that Western people are out there to deceive the Muslims and to rob Muslims of their culture and their religion. This, of course, primes Muslims and makes them perceive any kind of communication by Western people as a malicious attempt. This is why it is so common among Muslim people to accuse Western people of being Islamophobic or anti-Muslim or whatever it is, even when they are helping us, and to doubt their help, to doubt their kindness, to think that there's some ulterior motive behind what they are doing. This could be called christophobia or anti-white bigotry and prejudice, but of course we don't call it because even me just saying this right now could be seen as Islamophobic and racist. What a mess. On the other hand, they also learn that they have pretty much lost the ultimate fight against the West. Islamic history is full of war, but Muslims learn that they fought this war and that they eventually lost. They don't admit that they lost, but that's what it feels like. Muslims ended up as losers who had to submit and change their ways. Now we have the powerful West dictating to the world, including to Muslims, what to do, what not to do, how to be, how not to be. They see that the West is superior to them, and this is, of course, very demoralizing because at the same time they learn that Muslims are actually superior, or are supposed to be superior, and Allah is on their side, and that the others are actually afraid and jealous of them and their religion. In fact, this whole inferiority-superiority complex is often seen in how Islamists, Muslims who are very political with their religion, act and talk about white people, or how they treat us ex-Muslims. It is common for them to see us ex-Muslims as traitors, slaves, who want to suck up to our white masters. Because how could we possibly just be equal to these Western people and be a part of their culture? We are, in their eyes, people who choose to sell out their culture and to be inferior servants of our colonial masters. We are either superior or inferior, and if we don't want to be superior, then we must be inferior. But then there is also the cultural imperialism going on, that the West, especially America, has established a cultural empire which influences cultures, including Muslim cultures, all around the world. When Muslims turn on their TVs, they see American movies. They hear American, Western tunes. When they look at fashion, they see the West. When they buy computers and TVs, video games, they see Western technology and culture, aside from the South Korean or Japanese influence. That is different. Everyone is interested in Japanese and Korean culture. Then you have all the names: Google, Apple, Microsoft, McDonald's, Burger King, Coca-Cola, Disney, Nike, Mercedes, Amazon, Facebook, and so on. You get the point. So on the one hand, you suspect and hate and fear Western people and see them as people with ulterior motives, possible enemies. But on the other hand, your favorite movies and video games are Western. Your favorite brands, from everything, food to cars, are Western. What you're left with is a strange relationship where you hate but also love the West. If you travel through the Muslim world as a Western person, you will see that people are very interested. They want to interact with you, but at the same time they distrust you and politically hate your country. But at the same time they would love to visit your country or even live in your country. I went to Iraq. I communicated with people from many other Muslim cultures. They will talk badly about how immoral and terrible the West is, but if you went outside and started distributing passports or visas to Europe on a square in one of those countries, people would almost trample each other to death to get one of that and travel to the West. Because in the end, no matter what you learn, you know that your country sucks and that the West is so much better. But of course, because you love your religion and you are brought up with this loyalty, with this love to your religion, it would be great to convert those people that you see on your screen, on all those things that entertain you and make you happy, to Islam. To become one of you, or even a cultural immigrant who learns from you. That would give you pride and happiness. When a white woman announces that she has converted to Islam, there will be a lot of Muslim men who will immediately fantasize about marrying her. A while ago, there were these fake profiles on Twitter of white women who announced that they converted to Islam. This tweet by this fake account announcing her conversion reached hundreds and thousands of likes in a very short time. And the comments and messages were flooded with Muslim men who were making marriage proposals. I mean, that's pretty desperate. Marry me, marry me, marry me. It's very funny to see that white converts to Islam are immediately turned into spokespeople for Islam, for Muslims. You can be a Pakistani Muslim. You can struggle, be a devout Muslim and preach all your life, but never be noticed. But if you are an English guy, and you convert to Islam without even knowing much, then you have a very fast way up onto a stage. Muslims will want you to preach. They will even frequently say things like that converts are better than regular born Muslims. And that's often not even true. There are so many Muslims who were always Muslims, who are much more devout, much more knowledgeable, much more disciplined. But they don't get the same recognition because they don't have the skin color which you can fetishize. They want a white, Western person who is normally on the screen to be up there preaching Islam to others. Notice no one cares about Indian converts to Islam. Nobody cares about African converts to Islam. I'm sorry. They value white converts and turn them into important people who convert other white people. And soon, through the power and brilliance of white people, Islam will become important and relevant. It will dominate the world and everyone will want to become a Muslim. How amazing that would be. They don't realize that if Islam did spread, if it did become dominant, then those Western people would change. They would no longer be those superior, entertaining, important people who make you happy through your screen. Just like your ancestors who changed by converting to Islam, they would also change and slowly turn into a culture that you find no longer interesting. What's funny is that Muslims usually don't value these white converts to Islam forever. They initially make a big scene of one white person converting to Islam because it is such a rarity. Then they try to change that person, and that person slowly loses all those distinguished features that make them so interesting. And eventually this important, special white person becomes just a regular person that you don't really care about that much anymore, except simply keeping them as a token, to make Islam look popular, and to make yourself feel better. Eventually, it becomes hard for these white converts to live up to the initial hype. It is rather sad, but that's just the nature of such obsessions. So this is why and how Muslims are often obsessed with white people. My only suggestion would be to get rid of these inferiority and superiority games and perspectives, and to simply look at each other as equal human beings, regardless of how our religion wants us to look at each other. But that's just me. And in order to do that, you will have to stay away from Islam. So please, stay away from Islam. Thanks for watching. If you are here and you are seeing this, then you must subscribe or I will come for you. Most of my videos are not monetized. If you want to support me and my work, you can support me on Patreon or on apostateprophet.com. I appreciate your support so much. I will be back. Have a fantastic day and please stay away from Islam.